Let's do some trig on the calculator. Scientific and graphing calculators work differently, but they have some similar features. There are several buttons and menus that you'll want to locate on your calculator so you know how to use it. First thing for me to tell you is that you will constantly have to switch between degree mode and radian mode, depending on the question. The calculator won't know which mode you want. If you are in the wrong mode, you'll get the wrong answer, so it's your responsibility to constantly change the mode. We're going to look at these examples, so I need to first make sure I'm in degree mode. Most calculators have a mode button. My menu comes up, and the degree is highlighted, so I know I'm in degree mode. Scientific calculators will oftentimes tell you right on the screen of the calculator if you're in degree mode, DEG, or radian mode, RAD. So that's a little bit easier than the graphing calculators. Since I'm in degree mode, I will clear the screen and I will hit sine of 214, and there's our answer. Traditionally, we go 4 decimal places. Let's stick with that for now. The next example is in radian mode. So I have to remember, look, if I forget to change it, cosine of 2 pi, whoops, typed something wrong. Cosine of 2 pi, that's not the correct answer because the calculator thought it was 2 pi degrees, which is weird. So we have to change the mode to radians. And then when I type in cosine of 2 pi, that is the correct answer, and we could confirm that with ordered pairs on the unit circle. So constantly change from degree mode to radian mode back and forth where appropriate. The next thing to talk about is that degrees can actually be broken down into fractions. Just like an hour has minutes and seconds, a degree has minutes and seconds. There are 60 minutes in a degree and 60 seconds in a minute, which means there are 60 times 60, 3,600 seconds in a degree. Now we're really splitting hairs. Many of the newer calculators have the degree minutes feature on the calculator. Older calculators, you actually have to type in a fraction. So come talk to me about that and I'll help you. On my calculator, both of these examples are degree mode, so let me check. Good thing I checked. Over to degree mode. And I'm going to type in cosine of 56. I have an angle menu, but it's above the app button. So I'm going to pull that menu up, and choice 1 is a degree sign. Then I'll type in 15. I'll pull that same menu up and choose the minute. 56 degrees, 15 minutes. If you prefer, or if you don't have that minute feature, you would have to remember that there are 60 minutes in a degree, so you could type in cosine of 56. You don't need the degree sign because you're in degree mode, but you'd say plus 15 out of 60 because there are 60 minutes in a degree, and you'd get the same answer. For the next example, the tangent, unfortunately, the second button is not under the same menu. We'll notice that as we start to type in tangent of 45, go to the angle menu. There's a degree and there's a minute choice. There's not a second choice. That's located somewhere else on the calculator. So we'll type in the degree. We can still type in 12 minutes 56. The second button is located elsewhere on your screen. Some of you may have found it already. It's located, I'm looking for it myself, above the plus sign. Except to get to it, we have to hit the alpha. There it is. If you can't find these features on your calculator, you would type in tangent of 45 plus 12 divided by 60. There are 60 minutes in a degree, plus 56 divided by 3600, because there are 3600 seconds in a degree. And you'd get the same answer. Okay. Degree, minute, second takes a little bit of time to get used to. Next thing we'll have to do on the calculator is to find reciprocal functions. For example, cosecant. My calculator doesn't have a cosecant button, or a secant button, or a cotangent button. Some of the fancier calculators might. Mine doesn't. If yours doesn't, you have to use the idea of reciprocal. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So I would want to first make sure I'm in degree mode. Check. And I'd type in 1 over sine of 35 degrees, using the parentheses that the calculator forces you to use. So 1 divided by sine of 35 degrees. You don't have to put in the degree symbol. You can, but you don't have to since you're in degree mode. The next example is in radian mode, so switch to radian mode. Type in, oh wait, I can't type in secant, but that's the reciprocal of cosine. So I'm in radian mode. I'll do 1 divided by cosine of 2.7. Okay, last thing we'll talk about for now on the calculator is asking the calculator to find inverse functions. This is what you need to do anytime you're asked to find the angle. If you do not know the angle to type in, you use an inverse function. These are the buttons that have an inverse symbol. And an example is typed here. We are told what the trig ratio is. It's given as a decimal rather than a fraction. That's what happens when you use a calculator. And we're asked to come up with the angle. We'll find this angle in degrees. So let's put our calculator in degree mode. And we will use the inverse button in order to find the angle. So you can see right here, in order to find the angle, you'll type in the inverse of sine, also called arc sine in other textbooks or calculators, 0.3329. This is going to get good because I'm going to ask you to write this answer in degrees, minutes, and seconds. So the whole number tells me the degrees. Subtract off that whole number. The remaining decimal is a fraction of a degree. Multiply it by 60. The whole number is the number of minutes. Subtract off the whole number. Okay. Now multiply by 60 again. You don't need to do 3,600 because this is the second time we're multiplying by 60. So it's kind of already built in that way. So multiply by 60 again, and that's how many seconds. Some schools have thought would have you round up. Either way, that is pretty darn close because a second of a degree is extremely tiny. Now, next we'll do some examples where we are using the calculator.